All right, guys. Thanks for downloading this episode of the PM Reviews podcast. Got a really good guest today, Mickey Bey, professional boxer. He's under the Mayweather Promotions. So, without further ado, we'll let Mickey tell you about it.
All right, everybody. We're sitting here talking to Mickey Bey. He's a pro boxer. He's under the you're under the Mayweather Promotions, right?
Yup.
Man, it's pretty big time boxing guest here.
We just want to make sure, that's what it says on Wikipedia. But yeah, we were watching some of your fights earlier. We were seeing you knock some people out, and we just kind of want to see what's going on with you right now.
Oh yeah, man. Just ready to get back to doing it.
We were trying to read around on the internet and figure out what got you into boxing early on in life. We were trying to figure it out, and I couldn't really find anything.
Well, I pretty much played every sport coming up, and boxing kind of stuck because I liked it because it was 1-on-1 and it was all year round. A lot of sports just got seasons, so I like the concept of 1-on-1 combat, and the fact that I can do it all year round was one of the things that kept.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the only sports. Combat sports are the only sports that are definitely year round. Nothing else is year round. You can stay active the whole time in combat sports.
Right, yeah. So that's what I kind of liked. I always, even as a young kid, my parents always kept me in some kind of activity, during the summer and stuff like that. And my granddad boxed, and I had a lot of relatives that used to box too. So I guess it was in my blood as well.
Did you watch a lot of boxing as a kid when you were growing up?
Yeah, all the time, man. My father's a huge boxing fan. He had a lot of tapes, a lot of the old tapes, Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, all of those guys. So, I came up watching the old school cats.
Who are some of your favorite guys to watch?
Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Salvador Sanchez, Ricardo Lopez, and then, some of the previous, I like watching Roy Jones and Sugar Shane Mosley, Floyd Mayweather, and, even Mike Tyson and guys like that.
I love me some Mike Tyson. I think everybody loves Mike Tyson.
Oh, yeah, no question. Yeah, I've been catching those since I was little. My father was always ordering those fights.
So what age did you start? What age did you decide, okay, this is what I want to do? This is what I think I'm good enough at this that I can make a career out of it. What about age was that?
Well, I started at 12, which is kind of can be considered late for a boxer because, a lot of guys started 5, 6 years old. But when I really started thinking like that, I think I was around 16, maybe 15, 16, where I saw, that you could reap some benefits being good at it, and just watching a lot of the stories like that. I was seeing a lot of guys did pretty good for themselves financially, getting up out of the hood. I'm from one of the poorest places in the country, so that's one of the things that definitely kept me focused and kept me at it.
I don't think there's no question when people look that you're under the Mayweather Promotions. I don't think there's no question people doubt you can definitely make a nice living out of it. Not even a question there. If you're associated with the Mayweathers, you're definitely probably making a nice living in boxing.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it's all about being smart. Sometimes athletes and fighters, period, tend to blow through money, and I don't plan to be one of those guys that have one of those sad endings. So, as fast as the money comes and as fast as it can go, if you're not smart, that's one thing about it.
Yeah, a lot of self-control involved. You always see guys doing that all the time now.
Well,
yeah, that happens, man. I see it all the time.
Did you have a lot of amateur fights leading up? I was looking. I might have read it wrong, but it seemed like you had a pretty good amount of amateur fights.
Yeah, I did. I actually made the 2004 Olympic team. I made it to the Olympics, but I caught pneumonia, so I couldn't compete. So yeah, I had close to 200 amateur fights.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Dang,
I was
that's
like,
crazy.
my gosh, that is crazy.
Have you always been like kind of the same weight class, or have you kind of moved up throughout the years?
I kind of been. Well, I was a lot smaller, and I kind of been around the featherweight and lightweight. Yeah, I was a featherweight in the Olympics, and then I grew a couple of weight classes to lightweight. So yeah, I pretty much been those two weights for the past, man, for a while now. For a long time.
So if you had 200 amateur fights, and I mean, you turned pro in 2005. I mean, so you were what back then in 2005? 20,
I was
21?
21.
Man,
Yeah.
you had almost 200 amateur fights from the time you were 12 to 21. That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was time. Especially winning tournaments. We fought back and back. If you win, you go on. You win, you fight the next day. And I won a lot of tournaments, so it was time. Sometime I fought 20 times in 1 month or 15 times, in a month. So it was grueling.
A lot of those were probably. I mean, I'm assuming you were substantially better than by your professional record. I'm assuming you were substantially probably better than a lot of people you were fighting. So they probably didn't. They probably didn't last too long though.
Yeah, some of them didn't, but man, it was tough. Like,
oh, I bet so.
Honestly, a lot of the amateur fights were tougher just for the simple fact that when you get to the nationals, you're fighting the region's best. Like, you start off at the state. The best in that weight class in the state goes to the region, and then when you win the region, then it boils down to fighting all of the best regions in the nation. So at the national tournament, you fight, the top 10, 20 guys in the country. So then every fight is hard.
Man.
And like when you turn pro, what kind of like process is going pro? Do you have to like? Is there like some commission you have to talk to and do some paperwork, or like I don't really have an idea how that goes?
Oh yeah, right. A lot of people don't, man. It can be, to be honest with you, boxing is probably the greatest sport as far as the science of it, but it's the worst sport in the world by far when it comes to the business. That's something that I can guarantee. Like, I don't know if you guys hear about a lot of the musician stories, like behind the music, or how they have the stories, the documentaries where you see how people. It's the same way in boxing. It's there's only a couple guys that in the boxing game to where if you get with them, you're not gonna really have any problems and to watch over your shoulder, because one thing about it, most fighters come up, a lot of them are uneducated, and some of them barely even got out of middle school, and you got guys that's foreigners and guys that come from the Latin countries or whatever, and a lot of promoters and managers tend to try to get over them. That's like the hardest part is kind of wrestling with them on the business side. People don't see or really know about, when you wonder sometimes, like, how come this fight didn't happen or how come that fight didn't happen. It's so much that goes on behind the scenes to making these fights. That's the hardest part. Getting in the ring is a lot easier than the actual business part. That's the hardest part of boxing.
Yeah, at least in the ring, you know what you're going up against. There's a lot of things you can't control with the business side of it.
Yeah, man. I put it to you like this: I wouldn't want my son to box just from the politics of it. I still go through. I'm signed with Mayweather, and I'm, it's still, sometimes it's still rocky.
So, since excuse me, for speaking of Mayweather being signed with him, how did that process happen? Did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them, or how did that whole process go down?
Well, actually, we got a unique situation. I met him when I was younger. I was fighting in the tournament, actually, in the Golden Glove, in an amateur tournament. And he watched one of my fights. Somebody told him about me, and he watched one of my fights. So when I got out of the ring, he had came up to me, and the guy introduced him to me, and we met. We pretty much stayed in touch since then. That was when I was about think I was 17 years old at the time.
Man,
That's crazy.
And he actually wanted to turn me pro in. You know, he was saying, you know, come out to Vegas. You know, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio originally. And we used to always talk on the phone and stay in touch. And he told me to come out to Vegas and turn pro. And from there, we just stayed in touch. And my brother, I got a brother that used to fight. He was a good fighter as well. Took a one-way ticket out and, you know, flew out to Vegas. And he moved with Floyd Mayweather when we were younger and was building a relationship while I was going through the Olympic process. My brother was already living with him. And Floyd was, you know, telling me, like, you know, forget the gold medal, you know, come on out and get this money. And I was just telling him, you know, that was a dream with my mother to fight in the Olympics with the gold medal. And from there, he was going to actually manage me first. He wasn't promoting. He was going to manage me, but I ended up turning pro with Roy Jones as my first promoter because I had James Prince was my manager. And he had pretty much advised me to sign with Roy Jones. And that's another process, too. When you turn pro, usually you have somebody kind of shopping the deals for you. You meet with all of the promoters. I met with Top Rank, Bob Arum, and Don King, and people like that. And then whoever's looking over you, like James Prince at the time, was pretty much checking all of my deals out. And he chose for me and my brother and Andre Ward to sign with Roy Jones because he was handling all of our careers. So we ended up signing with Roy Jones. Coming out of the Olympics, I was the first person that I signed with as a pro.
how many fights did you fight under Roy Jones for?
I only fought like 4 or 5. You know, he wasn't too active of a promoter. You know, and then I ended up signing with another promoter, but he was an excellent guy, though, man. One of the best people you could meet. Like, man, he's an amazing person, like a rare person. Honestly, we need more guys like that in the business. You know, I think, you know, this sport would be amazing with guys like that promoting. He was an amazing person, one of the best people I ever met.
Yeah, that's, man, Roy, I didn't even, I've been doing my homework like crazy on you, and I never even found that anywhere. That's like, I'm learning that for the first time, so that's super cool.
Yeah,
you signed with Roy Jones. Man, that's really cool.
Oh, man, I got some I don't think nobody in this game got a story like mine, man. We only uncovered about 5% of stuff. Now I got documentaries and all kind of things coming out soon. You know, I actually was the first world champion out of my city since the '60s. You know, the Cavaliers. You know, I know y'all know familiar with LeBron James.
Oh man, my favorite basketball player of all time.
Right? Yeah, we came up together. You know, since we were kids. He actually is a huge boxing fan. That's how we met. He was at one of my amateur fights when I was a kid, and that was our first time meeting. I'm a year older than him, so at the time, I think I was 15 or 16, and he was 15. I'm a little older than him. And, you know, that was our first time meeting, was actually at a boxing match.
Man, that's
actually, crazy.
If you actually, believe it or not, and so we're doing this in 2018, so this was last year. If you actually would go to our YouTube channel, for people that are listening, and even if you want to check it out, we actually made a video debating why we think LeBron's better than Michael Jordan. So,
it's like,
me too.
It's like 25 minutes
yeah,
long.
I mean, it's like if you head over to our YouTube channel, and I mean it's right there in our video somewhere. It's why we think LeBron's better than Michael Jordan, and there's some pretty good points on there.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
That's
man.
I definitely think he is.
I agree because I think. Not taking nothing away from Jordan at all.
Oh no!
If anybody would say Jordan said I can't argue it, but I mean this could be my opinion. But I don't know if y'all made this point, but I think his tennis shoes made him a lot more of a legend too. Because at the time, you got to think his tennis shoes were almost bigger than he was as a player.
You're right. Yeah.
Even to this day, Jordan's like. You know, back then, he was probably one of the only guys with tennis shoes. There might have been a couple more, but his tennis shoes, I mean, I know for a fact, it would be killed for tennis shoes in my neighborhood and stuff like that, all over the country. Like, it was mainly like, that kind of added to his legacy, man. Having the tennis shoes blew him up, as well as him being a great player. But I pretty much roll with my boy LeBron too.
That's pretty much our argument. Our argument's not saying Michael Jordan's not good. It's just saying we think LeBron's 1 and he's 2. That's all our argument's saying.
And he's so ingrained in everybody's like mind, like he's the best, and nobody ever really like takes a second to really make their own like decision on like who they think is the best. It's just like they've heard that he's the best,
so they just accept that he's the best, and it's.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. It seemed like that's the thing to say is like Jordan. You can have a baby that never even watched basketball, and they're saying Jordan is the best player.
Yeah, just because they've heard the name.
Yeah, we're from Charlotte.
We're from Charlotte, so the Hornets are literally 15 minutes down the road. I mean,
we're the opposite of biased.
Yeah, I mean he's from
okay.
North Carolina and everything, so I mean we're not biased on that at all. It's just
are y'all big basketball fans or what?
We're more of football. We kind of got our whole channel started off football, and then we talked to an MMA fighter on our podcast. Then we got a couple boxers on, and so now we're actually really enjoying the whole combat sports era right now. Combat sports are in a super unique spot right now. Not even a question.
Right, yeah, man. There's some great stories when it comes to combat sports. It's a great story behind it. But yeah, I'm a big football fan as well.
What's your team?
Well, really, my team is Ohio State. As far as I pretty much roll with them. And in the pros, I'm a Tom Brady fan. And I got a couple friends, close friends that play in the NFL. So I kind of try to root for them. Ted Ginn.
Oh, Ted Ginn. Yes.
Yeah, we came up together, in the same city. So I was rooting for the Saints last year.
Now, one thing we are biased on is we're diehard Panthers fans. So Ted Ginn's done a lot of good for the Panthers. He helped us get to that Super Bowl in 2015. So we're grateful for that, definitely.
He's a man, dude. He's still fast, dude. He's like 33. He's outrun everybody.
Oh man, that dude's so fast. He was like he could have been a track star. He's super fast.
Easy. Man.
They got like his dad got a program in Cleveland where I'm from. Man, they produce some of the best football players in the country. Like from his one little program, all the players you see that's half of the Ohio State roster is from their program.
Oh yeah, that dude, man. I was actually at one of the games one time where he caught a long touchdown pass. It was here in Charlotte. He caught a long touchdown pass and ran down the sidelines, and they clocked him going across the goal line like miles per hour, and they said he was going like half of a mile an hour slower than Usain Bolt when Usain Bolt broke the 100-meter dash record. Like he was going like half a mile an hour slower than the fastest human of all time. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, that's how fast he is, man.
And he was wearing shoulder pads and trying to carry a football and a helmet. I mean, take all that stuff off and put him in track gear.
Yeah, exactly.
That man will run with Usain Bolt. He's so fast.
He's like world class speed.
He got to be one of the fastest runners in NFL history as far as speed.
He's got to be. Yeah, no question.
Man, they got some athletes over there where you're from.
Cleveland produces the athletes, man.
Oh man, yeah, we got a lot of athletes, and so it's a real poor, rough city. It's kind of hard to, you gotta be able. If you can beat the streets, then you go to the top.
Isn't Stipe Miocic from Cleveland, the UFC heavyweight?
Yeah, he is.
That's another one, man. Good gosh.
Yeah, we got plenty of dudes that I didn't even know was from Cleveland. Sometimes I hear about guys. And I see today, I'm like, man, I didn't even know that. Matter of fact, Terry Dean had a teammate that his father raised that won the Heisman. I don't know if y'all remember Troy Smith. His name was Troy Smith. He played quarterback for Ohio State, but he ended up winning the Heisman trophy.
Was he a quarterback? I think he was.
Yeah, he was a quarterback. He won it over Ted Ginn because Ted Ginn was candidate, but his friend ended up winning it.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that actually. As crazy as that sounds, I remember that. Because you go and you can go find highlight clips of Ted Ginn in his last year in college, and it's like they say like in the clips or whatever in the highlights, you can hear the commentator saying like he's a candidate for the Heisman Trophy winner or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Ohio's a big on football. We like a big football state.
Man, that's crazy. So many champions from From Ohio, and just from Cleveland.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
LeBron, you, Stipe
Right.
Miocic, that's crazy, man.
It's insane.
Yeah,
That's
man,
wild.
We got a lot of people. It's a lot of people that you wouldn't even know that until they say it. Like, this guy from Cleveland. It's a lot more people.
Man, well, shout out to all the athletes from Cleveland, no doubt about it. Love to have all of them on one day.
Man. We keeping it coming, man. I'm just trying to keep on building on my legacy and go out on top.
Well, man, so far you're doing a pretty good job.
We saw you training with Floyd Mayweather Sr. We kind of wanted to hear a little bit about what it's like training with him.
Oh, man, yeah, that's hands down, man. He's the best. That dude, I've been training with him for 14, 15 years now, and it's been a blessing. I learned so much from him. And by training with him, you can see why Floyd is the best. I mean, he knows the things that he knows is almost like one of the guys you see in the movies, like the Mr. Miyagi's and the and the people like that. I'm sure y'all seen Karate Kid.
Oh yeah.
And he reminds me of one of those kind of guys. Like he it's a lost art.
He's like that. He's like that old wise man.
Oh man, yeah, that's like one of the things that he just knows. Like if he was to forget everything else, and then he taught his brothers, Boxer Mayweather, and he got a younger brother, Jeff, too. I mean, it's in their blood. Like I think that's what he was born to do. He also was a great fighter, but he got shot up in his leg, so he couldn't continue his career. He actually did continue fighting, but that kind of derailed him. But man, that guy knows, like he said, I know more than these other trainers forgot.
Man.
No. Matter of fact, he said he forgot more than all the other trainers know.
That's crazy.
That's how much he knows, and it's serious. Like, man, that dude knows so much that, he's like a Bill Belichick, pretty much.
The clip we were watching.
He's so quick too.
Yeah,
he's like 60.
That's what I was about to say. The clip we were watching, man. You were punching his. He had hand mitts on, and you were punching him, and that dude is freaking lightning fast.
Yeah, he's 65, 64, 65, and he can keep up at my fast speed. I mean,
that's
dude,
crazy.
it is, man. That dude is super fast still.
So, a question I'm going to have to ask, and I'm sure you hear it all the time, and I don't want to harp too long on it, but, what is it like waking up every day and, you get to just go train, right alongside the Mayweathers? That has to be just unbelievable to be like, man, this is, it's like I did it almost. Like, I'm training with the Mayweather. I'm training with the best in the world. Best boxer of all time.
Honestly, I'm so humble that sometimes I got to step out of my own shoes and look at it and say, man, it had been a blessing. That's why I never complain. Things could always be worse. That's how I always look at things, and just realize that I'm blessed, like you said, to be training alongside and soaking up that kind of knowledge, because I learned so much that if I want to, I know I can be a world-class trainer as well, because I'm a sponge in everything that I learned. I can give it to other fighters and make them world champions as well. But it's definitely a blessing to see to have been alongside even Floyd Jr. to see him become the richest athlete in the world. To see the transformation, it's unbelievable. And sometimes I do have to sit back and look at it from another perspective, because I'm so used to it that, to me, Floyd is just Floyd. He's not Money Mayweather, because I knew him for a while. It's like, that's just Floyd to me, because, I don't look at him how everybody else does, but it is amazing just to see what he does. It's incredible.
Have you ever, we were trying to find this too, but have you ever just hopped in there and won a few rounds with Floyd?
No, we played around in there and stuff, but we never went in serious rounds. No, we kind of just played around a little bit a while ago, but nothing serious. No, I never had.
Yeah, you think you could take him if y'all win a couple rounds?
Oh yeah, definitely. Cause I know the same things that he knows. But it would have been like a tactical, weird sparring match, and I think he probably never wanted to spar with me, because Floyd in the gym, he talks so much trash to you that he got to almost not know you. He's going to be calling you bees, and Floyd is different in the gym. You'd be surprised in the gym if you see him spar. He spar a lot different than he fight. Like, he actually brawls a lot and knock guys out in the gym.
Really?
Yeah, like you'd be surprised. Like, he fights a lot safer because it's about him being smart, hitting and not getting hit and just getting the victory. But
yeah,
Floyd probably not. Honestly, Floyd probably got more knockouts than anybody in the gym other than like a Mike Tyson.
Man,
that's crazy. That's like that's the soundbite of this podcast, probably.
That's pretty wild.
And you talking about with headgear and bigger gloves on? I've seen him. Not plenty of guys I'm talking about. That's why he was impressed with Earl Spence. Because Earl Spence was one of the guys that lasted the whole camp with him. Because usually guys can't last the whole training camp sparring with Floyd.
The dude's for 40 years old, and I mean, like, just watching the McGregor fight, for 40 years old, I'd say he's the most impressive 40-year-old athlete I've ever seen, ever.
He can still dunk too.
Yeah, there's like videos of him dunking.
Oh, for sure, yeah. If he could still fight, if he wanted to, he could fight plenty of years. Like, I mean, because he take care of his body. He don't abuse his body and stuff like that. But
well, I definitely think that trickles.
He could still fight.
That trickles down into like a fight of yours I was watching the other day. Like, that trickles. I can definitely tell that trickles down into the learning experience because one of the commentators, it might have been Mario Orlando, I'm not sure, but he was talking about how conservative like you are with your punches. Like, you don't wear yourself out in the ring throwing punches you don't think are gonna, like, not that you don't think they're gonna land, but it's like a lot of fighters get in there and just waste a lot of punches early on. And he was talking about how you're such a conditioned athlete to where you don't waste all your punches early on in a fight. How disciplined you are, I guess is the word. And I can definitely see that trickles down. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. That's how the Mayweathers, their teaching is about that, being accurate, hitting, not getting hit, and being smart pretty much. It's almost like, somebody going to war, they're not going to just run out shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be kind of,
you got a limited number of bullets, and you want to make them all count.
Exactly. You might have to duck behind a car and run across and roll around and then shoot, whatever. But yeah, it's kind of like that. It's it's a chess. Actually, it's a physical chess match.
That's a good way to put it.
Before you do things, it's a physical chess match. That's the best way to explain boxing.
Yeah,
I think some people don't understand like they call it like the sweet science and like the psychological game behind it. And it's not just like brute force and all that.
Oh no, not at all. It might look, you don't really have a lot of knowledge about it. You would think that, but no, you got to think because number one, you go on 12 rounds, which is long as heck. Like, it's
36 minutes. That's a long time.
And there's no timeout and there's no substitutions. Like, you can't bring in another player like in a lot of other sports, and there's no timeout. So I fought for years with a messed up hand. I fought with broke hands, and I got cuts over my eye to where I couldn't see for almost the whole fight. But you got to push through it.
Yeah, it's
people don't understand a lot about boxing. I don't think because you'll hear like people talking about certain fights, and it's like that's not it's like it's more about like what you said. It's like a physical chess game. It's like a lot more to it. It's a lot of strategy.
Oh man, that's exactly. You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it is.
I like that part of it too. I think it makes for a more interesting kind of competition.
That's almost what made the Mayweather versus McGregor fight so interesting. It's like definitely the greatest boxer of all time, but I'd say Floyd is, in my opinion, I'd say he's probably the best mind in boxing too. He's been hit. He's had 50 professional fights, and he's been hit the least. I mean, yeah, it's like, what can the greatest boxer of all time do against a guy who's literally never stepped foot in a boxing ring? And we saw it.
He's beaten everybody too. Like, everybody always says his opponents weren't good, but like, you name a big name and he's probably fought him.
Canelo Alvarez.
Oscar
De La Hoya, Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he's done it all. He's every
anybody that's fighting pro on that level is a threat.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody.
I mean, he might have not ever had a professional fight, but Conor McGregor is a professional fighter. I mean, he is at the end of the day, he's a professional fight. He is a threat.
And he was the unknown factor too. That Floyd had everything to lose and like not a lot to gain too. I think that was big time, just like for him to have the guts to do that.
And it was just
what y'all think about him fighting in the cage,
believe it, you'll be surprised. Now, we're not like everybody else. We really actually think he has a unique set of skills that could transfer up. I don't think it'll be as bad as people are making it seem who's somebody I can't think off the top of my head.
Some of these guys saying he wouldn't last 10 seconds.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, right. Have you seen
crazy.
him fight before?
Like Joe Rogan saying he wouldn't last. He would just get absolutely manhandled from start to end. Like, I mean, if I'm being a sensible human being, if I'm gonna call myself a sensible human being, I don't think he could get in there with a Conor McGregor and win. But I don't think he'd get in there and get absolutely embarrassed from start to finish. I really don't think that would happen.
No, I doubt it because, McGregor's a smart fighter in the cage and kind of a striker. From what I saw, he seemed like kind of he don't seem like just a go get you kind of guy. Like,
yeah, his fighting IQ is high.
I think it'd be interesting.
He has a high fighting IQ just like Floyd does.
I think even more so after what you were saying with Floyd, because people don't get to see him day in and day out in the gym like you, and you were saying like he brawls and stuff, and like people don't realize he can do. We didn't realize it till about 10 minutes ago, but he can kind of get in there and actually brawl. I think people don't know that.
Right, exactly, yeah. So it's but yeah, I mean, I think if he get in there with him, take a lot of heart to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and Floyd's the perfect person who would do it too. Like, I don't think there's anybody else. Floyd definitely has the guts to do it. If he's had the guts to do everything people said he wouldn't do, he had the guts to fight. I mean,
he boxed
Manny
Conor.
Pacquiao, he boxed Conor McGregor. I mean, he'll step up to any challenge. We've seen him do it already. You can't say he won't step up to a challenge. So I mean,
it's definitely a serious thing for sure.
I mean, the thing is, we've kind of like rationalized it as like when you've been a professional your whole life, like Floyd, like he's 40 years old. There's no way he's ever like not been in a gym somewhere and been like, hey, show me how to take that guy down. Just show me. I just want to kind of see what it's like. Just show me. So I feel like in the back of my mind, he's had to slowly over time maybe learn a little bit. I don't think it'd be as bad as people really make it out.
Nobody's gonna outstrike him either.
Not at all.
Nobody's gonna like all UFC fights usually start out standing up. So I mean,
he wins that part of it.
Yep.
But he wins that part against anybody. I mean, he's reduced his gloves weight to 4 ounces. Imagine how fast his hands would be. I just can't. They'd be so light and fast. I couldn't imagine how fast he could. I mean, light anybody up if he catches them just right. I think.
Oh man, for sure. Like call me crazy, but I think he'd win. But I could be wrong. So
that's not crazy at all. Yeah, that's not crazy at all.
So y'all can be right on that. I guess I can convince you, but who knows? It'd be a good fight.
Yeah, I think we actually do take a different stance than everybody said, and we have videos I think to document that. I think we've had a couple videos where we've talked about it and been like, I don't think he'd get tore slap up to pieces, but. If I'm betting my money, I'm gonna bet on the MMA fighter just like I would if I was betting on the Floyd Conor fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he would do like Conor did in a boxing ring. I think everybody thought Conor was gonna get in there and just get absolutely embarrassed. And I think, from my opinion, I think Conor held his own. I think he did good. I think
he did good.
I think he proved a lot, and I think Floyd would do the exact same thing if the roles were reversed. I think is exactly how it'd go.
Yeah, I think that if Conor started with boxing earlier as a boxer, I think he'd have been a good boxer.
Yeah, because, I mean, first professional fight against Floyd Mayweather and you go 10 rounds.
I bet some guys in that weight class were hoping
I'm a fan now, man, just off of that, man. I just like his confidence and everything.
Yeah, he brings a cool entertainment factor, too. Like, he's like Floyd was when Floyd was young, He brings that trash talk, arrogant, like,
Oh, man. He the first person to beat Floyd. He beat him.
Yeah, seriously. He's the first person in 50 professional fights. He's the first person to ever outdo Floyd in that spectrum.
Oh, man. Yeah, I enjoy that, man. I'm definitely, I definitely like that cat, McGregor now.
Did guys kind of around the gym have a different respect for him after that fight?
Oh, yeah, man, definitely, because you could see a lot of skill in McGregor. Like, I'm sure he boxed a lot. Like y'all just said, we dabble. Like, I know how to grapple, and my father, he was a state boxing coach, so I know how to grapple and do a little bit of Wing Chun and stuff like that. So, I know different arts of fighting. It's similar, but I was impressed with Conor McGregor because I was looking and I seen like, okay, if he would have came up boxing, he'd have been good.
Yeah,
he'd have been a good fighter.
I mean, what was it, like first or second most punches ever landed on Floyd?
It was the second, I think.
Second most punches ever landed on Floyd
in
a fight.
Was it?
Yeah.
Dang,
It was 111.
Canelo Alvarez has the most. I think it's like 118, and Conor landed 111. Manny Pacquiao landed like 88.
Damn.
And they went all 12.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, okay, man. I don't even know that.
I bet some people in the weight class are like, I wouldn't mind if he went back to MMA.
Dang. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
Have you ever, I was meaning to ask you this, have you ever kind of, like, thought about MMA or kind of, like, messed around with it a little bit?
Well, I never thought about, when I was younger, I used to want to do MMA, because like I say, my dad was a state wrestling champ, so, he taught me a lot of wrestling. And, I learned some little bit of Wing Chun and Kung Fu and stuff like that a little bit off and on. And I've always been a fan of it. I was a fan of it when there was no weight class, like, the Horace Gracie and
yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about.
Guys. Yeah, I was a fan back then. Like, that's when I was, really watching it. And, so, yeah, and I had over 300 street fights and won every last one, but I never lost a street fight.
Man, that's crazy.
Ever. Yeah, ever. Like, and,
that's pretty cool.
And I fought guys of all sizes, man, every shape, size that you could think of, because, a lot of guys heard about me around the city and they'd see me and say, man, this guy don't look intimidating. This the guy that's everybody talking about. And they tried me. I was never a bully. I was always on the deep. I was always the guy that was fighting the bully. Pretty much. And I never lost a street fight ever.
They thought they won something. They got lit up a couple times.
Dang.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I came up. A lot of guys, wanted to tease me and wanted to steal the name off of mine. And the last guy that I fought was 6'6", close to 300 pounds. After I called the victory hung, that was it. People got the picture.
That's about what it takes right there. You beat somebody like that. It's not a question anymore.
Yeah, man, that was my last one. And, that was it. I offered him a ring, but he declined. But that was the last one right there.
That's pretty cool.
You better mention that in the documentary.
Oh man, y'all gonna love it. Yeah, we'll be in touch, I'm sure. Anyway, but yeah, y'all gonna love it.
When do they have an idea when it might be coming out?
You say when will it be out?
Yeah, like do you have an idea about when it might be coming out?
It'll be soon. I think it'll be out before May or early May.
Oh, sweet! So real soon.
Yeah,
okay,
it's gonna
cool.
cover, man. It's gonna cover a lot of stuff. Like, man, I got a real unique story. Like I say, I came up under the Mayweather banner before he was Money Mayweather.
Yeah, it was pretty
when
boy
Floyd.
Floyd.
I said I was moving to Vegas with him, people thought I was crazy. They say, "Oh, he ain't that good. Why you going to train with the Mayweathers?" And Don King came up with my grandfather. They grew up together. Don King is from Cleveland. And Al Heyman is too. That's another guy that's controlling boxing now. That's Floyd's manager and manages a lot of guys. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna cover a lot of stuff, man. I got a crazy story. Like it's definitely gonna be inspiring to teach you, to keep striving and keep on fighting, that you can overcome anything.
And I got one last question because we don't want to hold your whole Easter Sunday up.
Okay.
But I got one last question. What are your thoughts on Anthony Joshua? We haven't asked any of our boxers about Anthony. I always mean to, and I keep forgetting to. So what do you think about him?
Well, I think he's a beast. He can fight. Well, really, my favorite heavyweight right now is Deontay Wilder.
Okay.
I like Wilder, but I like Joshua as well. He's a beast. And I think that, man, he's a huge star over there in the UK. Like I think the UFC offered him over $500 million.
$500 million. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, so I think that he's gonna be the second billionaire fighter. Behind Mayweather. So that's pretty incredible too.
That dude seems that nobody can stop that dude in the heavyweight division right now though. That dude's on a.
Nah, man, it's hard. It's hard because if he hits you, then it's over. I think him and Wilder's going to be a mega fight, man.
It'll be big.
Him and Deontay Wilder.
Yeah,
but yeah, I like Joshua though. He's the real deal. He's definitely the truth.
Well, man, like I said,
I got one more thing I just wanted to ask. We just wanted to see if you have like a date for a fight or anything. I couldn't find anything, but we definitely would like to tell everybody.
Well, I don't have an exact date, but I'm thinking sometime, before June.
Okay.
Yeah, sometime before June, I'll be back in there. But we'll definitely be in touch. So, you can let all the fans know. And I definitely, we'll probably be back on, on the podcast. And, I'll be letting y'all know about the documentary and stuff like that.
Yeah, we definitely would love to catch up after the documentary comes out.
That sounds great to us. Yeah, we'd love to have you back on.
We'll be watching the minute we can watch. We're gonna be watching that thing.
Oh, for sure, man. Y'all gonna love it, man. It's a roller coaster. The story is, it's a roller coaster.
Well, man, we hope you enjoy your Easter Sunday.
Oh, man, likewise, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man. Thanks for coming. Like I said, we want to catch back up and tell Floyd we want him on one day.
Okay, for sure. All right, man. Nice talking to y'all.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, everybody. This is probably solidified as my favorite Easter of all time now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Not even a question. It's definitely
a big time podcast for us.
Yeah, this is definitely. I think this will probably be our most outreach podcast overall. I mean, this guy has probably the most followers, but it's the boxing community. People tend to keep a check, from what we've understood. People tend to keep a check on each other a lot more closely, I think, than any other sport we've talked about.
Yeah, we're super excited about this one. We can't wait to have it up for everybody. I'm down to have some more combat athletes on. I think they kind of are a little easier to get on because they kind of need to do media. Not need to, but it's a good idea for them.
Yeah, it helps them promote themselves.
Because the football players, they don't really need. It doesn't matter
it's a machine.
How well they're known. It's like the brand of the NFL as a whole, not really like individual athletes. And I think that's what boxing and MMA are all about. It's like individual guys you cling to. You want to see that individual fight.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It helps them get their name out, and I mean, this is building a relationship with a guy who's with Floyd Mayweather with us. I mean, that's like as cool as life gets right there, pretty much.
It's crazy. Like
when it comes to the journalism life, and you're affiliating with guys who are with Floyd Mayweather, I don't know how life gets any better.
And it's just crazy, like some of the guys we've had on and some of the stories we've heard on here. I mean, it's like every single podcast we're hearing some crazy story about how somebody's trained with somebody else we really admired, and the guys we're already talking to are just, I can't even believe we're talking to them.
Seriously, that's unbelievable.
This was one of my favorite ones, though. I mean, it's kind of cool hearing about like the uprise,
how he got his start and all that stuff. Yeah, that's definitely pretty cool.
And Cleveland is apparently
Cleveland is producing the athletes of the century.
Yeah, it's apparently I don't even know what you call it. Like
I don't even know the word.
It's an athlete factory, I guess.
Yeah, they're mass producing them up there. So we appreciate Mickey Bey and the whole Mayweather Promotions. The whole Mayweather Promotions for coming on and talking to us, and we would love to have a couple more on. Hopefully we'll get, we got a little foot in the door now, so hopefully we can expand our variety of our podcasts and our guest list. So
and we got some more good stuff coming up. We got a couple NFL players in the works to have on. We're kind of trying to work out some dates and times with those guys.
Yeah, we got a couple lined up. We kind of had to push Mickey Bey to the front. Our schedules were getting to where they weren't lining up, so we had to just kind of do this one. But we got some more guys, like Patrick said, coming up, definitely.
We got a lot to be excited for next weekend. We got, because today's April 1st, Easter.
Oh, yeah.
We got, I'm sure a lot of people listen to it afterwards, but for anybody listening to it now, we got big-time weekend coming up. We got UFC 223 with Khabib and Tony Ferguson and
WrestleMania 34
the next day. We're probably going to have a lot of post-recap stuff on that.
We've done a whole podcast. We've done like an hour-long podcast. Taylor came on and we done like an hour-long sit-down talk about it, what we thought everybody's little angles were going to be and everything. So from UFC all the way to WrestleMania with Ronda Rousey and Brock and
Daniel Cormier,
Steve,
all them.
We talked about it all. So be sure to check that one out if you hadn't heard it yet. It's really good.
We're going to try to build a little bit like where we don't always have to have a guest. Where
Yeah, we're trying to build out a little bit. Yeah.
Where you guys are like, I actually kind of want to hear what they have to say on their own instead of just clicking on it for a regular.
What we're hoping is that you've listened to enough of our interviews where maybe, hopefully, you want to actually hear our opinion on things.
I mean, you might not, but that's okay. We can handle it. Just listen to the one with guests.
Yeah, if not, just listen to the interviews and, in the review, just put in there, be like, hey, listen, I don't care about your opinion. I just care about Mickey Bey's
opinion. I just
like
hearing these other guys. We don't really care what you have to say. We can handle it. I can handle it.
Yeah, we can take it. So if that's what it takes.
Whatever you want, we'll do it.
But thanks to everybody who shares out there, Dalton, Taylor, Heath. All those guys, Tech, Mooey. Thanks to all those guys.
We're probably forgetting somebody, but
Ella and Steven.
Tim Renaud.
Yeah, Tim is a great help. We really appreciate him. So thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Be sure to come back for more later on in the future, and we'll see you next time.